So hello my friends, Devaun Lennox here, PhotographyPX. In today's video I want to do an autofocusing test with the Fujifilm X-T200, which I have right here. So I've configured the camera as follows. I've set the focus to continuous focus. In the movie AF mode, I've set it to multi. It's going to use multiple points for tracking. And I've also gone into the AF settings under the face and eye detection settings, and I've also enabled eye auto, so that the camera is going to automatically focus on my dominant eye as I move throughout the frame. Also of note, I am using the 4K mode on the mode dial, which is right here. I'm going to be using that 4K mode that's on the mode dial rather than going to the manual mode and then hitting the record button and setting up the parameters manually. So I'm basically shooting in program auto, sort of in a fully automatic mode here. So keep that in mind as well. But with those out of the way, let's get into the autofocusing test on the Fujifilm X-T200. All right, so here we are doing an autofocusing test. I am using the built-in microphones on both of these cameras. I'm doing both the X-T200 and the ZV-1 comparison right now. You're gonna just see me starting to move around. Face and eye detection on both of these cameras is on. I'm gonna be quite tenacious about it as well. But the face and eye detection is very excellent. I set both of these cameras to roughly about maybe 30 millimeters, give or take, 28 to 30 millimeters, somewhere around there. And ISO is 1600 for both cameras. I am using a light here that you can see. Eye auto is enabled on both cameras, and as you can see, the autofocus is doing a great job. Aperture on the Fujifilm X-T200 is set to f4, shutter speed 50, and ISO 1600. On the ZV-1, it's auto ISO right now. It's navigating mostly around ISO to 160, and the shutter speed to 150th, and aperture is f2.2. And as you can see, okay, now that was easy for both of these cameras for the most part. I would imagine that the ZV-1 is doing a much better job than the X-T200, but the X-T200 does a very good job for this price point. So we're gonna add a hoodie, and we're going to see how it continues doing now. Now I am wearing a hat. This is rather a complicated situation that most cameras are not going to do great in, and I'm moving around very much wildly, you know, on these. I will, you know, come in really close, and you guys can see that as well. Move back, and man, these cameras are ridiculously good. Oh my God. I just can't get them to stop. I mean, they're really, really good. The only other last thing that I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna just throw in some sunglasses as well, which is gonna definitely be the ultimate test for both these cameras. Let me grab those right now. All right, so now I'm about to grab some sunglasses, toss some sunglasses on, and we're gonna see the difference as I give them an added difficulty. Okay? Aha! And the X-T200 has mostly lost me, I think. Not really 100% sure. The ZV-1 is still just really, I just cannot stop the ZV-1, you know? Cannot stop the ZV-1 here. This is the ultimate test of a camera's autofocusing system. I mean, like, it doesn't get any worse and more complicated than basically doing this. And no one's gonna be recording a video unless you're doing a music video, basically doing this. It's just not gonna happen. So just letting you know. But these cameras are doing a very good job across the frame, as you can see. As I get closer and the subject gets closer, they're doing a fantastic job keeping me in focus. Just look at the background as I'm doing this, by the way. You can see if the camera is actually losing focus, and this is a very complicated autofocusing test, but they've done an outstanding job, which is why PhotographyPX, we recommend both these cameras highly for various reasons. Besides just autofocusing alone, they are also excellent cameras in their respectable classes. This is Sony ZV-1 for vlogging and YouTube and video-centric more mediums. And the Fujifilm X-T200 is a great hybrid camera, photo and video. Not quite as strong in the video section as the ZV-1, but otherwise an excellent camera, and it's much better as a hybrid, particularly if you want to take photos. But I hope that test was insightful. Let's get over to the conclusion, and we can kind of go from there. So there you have it, my friends. There is an autofocusing test with the Fujifilm X-T200. If you're curious, I am using the 10 to 24 millimeter f4 Fuji lens with this particular test. I don't think the lens is going to make that big of a difference. The camera is doing a lot of the processing when it comes to the algorithms, especially when it comes to face and eye detection, subject detection, things of that nature. The autofocusing on the lens is going to be very much secondary. But even so, it's important that I note the particular lens so that you know what lens I'm using here. This test also works incredibly well with the 35 f2 Fuji lens, works just as well with that particular lens, but I've chosen to use the 10-24 for this particular test. But if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or feel like I've overlooked something over the course of this video, please let me know down below. Also, while you're down in the description box down below, we've launched a new brand called pxpresets.com. PX Presets is going to be your next one and only stop for Lightroom presets until we launch Photoshop and other platform presets. But here you can find both desktop and mobile presets to get you started in a variety of different mediums more powerfully and upgrade your imaging and take your images to the next level. That link to pxpresets.com will be in the description box down below. Please check that out if you're in the market for some exciting Lightroom presets. But until next time, my friends, I've been your host, Devaun Lennox. I will see you in the next video.